apparently I am a conspiracy theorist kook. I don't care. I'm standing on truth, and when things start to unfold in a very specific way, and I've been preaching or sharing my thoughts and what God reveals to me, not claiming that my word should be followed. Obviously, go seek the answers for yourself. You should be doing that from the start. But about aliens and stuff, man, first off, God doesn't make mistakes. God only made man and woman. There was another verse that came to mind, but I forget it, so that might come up here in a second. But without biblical knowledge, we're all going to fall under a mass deception. Oh, that's what the verse was. It's even the elect, even those who God had chosen, so those in the faith today, when that time comes, will even fall for the lie that's coming. Because the performance behind these spirits and principalities and rulers in dark places, by the way, the Geneva Bible and some of the other Bibles say governors of our world, that in itself, are pushing the alien agenda. My last post I shared that I made a video a long time ago. Actually, it was like the second video I ever made, talking about if you were in control of a population, how would you get the entire population on one mind, one accord, looking up, ready for war? That's all like, what the heck? Some people can't comprehend that because, truthfully, you're either a bunch of sheep, don't care to seek knowledge, or are just content with where you sit. You know, what knowledge? What does it serve you? Well, it's what good will it do you? Truthfully, it won't really do you any good right now, other than knowing. But knowledge is power. And when you're knowledgeable, you know what to expect. When you're rooted in a specific foundation, you know what is right, what is wrong. Oh, that was the verse. The restraining force against the darkness. Jesus calls these people the salt and the light of the earth. The salt is a preservative, and light is exposing. We are the restraining force strictly for the sake of reading and being up to date on scriptures. We know that God made only man, not just like physically man and whatever, just humanity. God made man and woman. We know God only made animals. We know God only made the earth. Other planets and all these other things, yes, they could be in the picture, but that's not relevant to salvation. Aliens and all these things that are popping up is not necessarily relevant to salvation, so they're not mentioned in the Bible. However, there are other books, like in the Apocrypha, that talk on spirits and people who have had run-ins with aliens before. I don't say run-ins. Like encounters and all these things with aliens before. So not only are Christians a restraining force and the only thing to help fight this lie that's coming up, they're going to try to push the agenda, obviously. But if nobody is telling you that's not true and this is why, then suddenly there's going to be a lot of people believing this lie and wanting to push this agenda further because it makes sense. It brings clarity. Don't get me wrong. It could, bring some clarity if you have no idea on how or why the earth was made and all these other all small details. You know what I mean? So anyway, recently Trump and a lot of other people have been pushing this agenda harder than usual. I mean, if you're not ignorant, if you have more than 2 brain cells, you can see that they've been kind of trying to push for it. But I'm not taking any political sides here. What I'm saying is that people are waking up and people are seeing things. And I want to also share that and to help others wake up and see things. Again, do your research. God made only humans. Aliens, these otherworldly beings, these other dimensional, multi-dimensional beings, or whatever you want to call it, are demonic. We have been operating as a society, as a collective, as a country, as a state even, in looking for answers, and we're basically just satisfied with whatever answer comes our way, because it's something new, something to put your faith in or whatever, but it's not something you necessarily have to submit to. It's just something you can accept, you know? People don't choose God for convenience. However, whatever lie you throw in the way, oh, God's a killer God and this and this and this. Oh, he's absolutely a killer God, but you don't know why he's a killer God. Oh, God is he's not very loving. He's not tolerable to sin. There are things that we take, small snippets, and we take that as truth, and we transform that as a good or valid reason to stay away completely from the word or even just the faith. I am fully aware, we are all fully aware that there are poor people who represent Christ, let alone who represent honorable, godly men in the church and even outside the church, who push people away from the faith. Who crucified Jesus? He came down to put an end to sacrificial offerings and the traditions of man and all these things, and here we are using that against him. We got so mad, and then we ended up killing him. The people who weren't rooted in this foundation agreed with the Pharisees and ended up killing Jesus. So this spirit that's against Christ, this anti-Christ spirit, is getting louder and bolder every single day. Our struggle that we face now is, oh, there's actually other beings God created, these aliens or whatever the case. And it's kind of wicked because people who are pushing this agenda have no idea how to push the agenda because they don't read their dang Bible. The Bible teaches very, very specific principles. And one of these principles is that God doesn't make mistakes. He won't have aliens come out of nowhere and not tell us about it. Because everything that he told us about, or everything that we would need to know, he told us about, down to dragons and witches. It's like straight out of The Wizard of Oz. Wizards, those are a thing too. So what's next? Well, what's next is doing your knowledge and doing your research, advancing your knowledge and whatever the case. It's frustrating. Oh my goodness, it's frustrating. But I also understand that we're desperate for answers, and aliens are the easiest answer, I suppose. Probably the most laziest way you can explain something without doing any sort of research. Let's just shift all the blame to aliens, and maybe somewhere down the line we'll end up giving our lives or committing to aliens and their agenda. They're demons. The same aliens that are going to reveal themselves to us today are the same aliens that caused the world to get flooded. Not aliens. Fallen angels. Demons. Trying to push this agenda to help us get used to a demonic schedule so that they can continue doing things that they want to do behind everybody's backs in a disguise that is beneficial or helpful to us. Christ is the only way into heaven. This life is fading. Stop putting your worldly treasures, you're storing up everything. Stop investing in this flesh because it's going to die. And because you were told just now through me, I'm not the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. Just because you were told just now through me that Christ is the only way, we need to repent and don't believe the lie that's coming, you are now no longer blameless in the day of judgment.